You ever noticed how some topics just instantly divide the room? Immigration, for example. You bring it up and suddenly people just stop listening. They pick a side, they dig in, and then they defend a position like their identity depends on it. Now that's the first sign that you're not dealing with the truth anymore. You're dealing with programming. Because here's the reality that nobody seems able to say anymore. Migration is not the problem. But what's happening across Europe right now is not migration. You are told that there's only two options. Either open the borders, let everyone in, and if you question it, you're the problem. Or shut it all down, no one comes in, protect everything, and anyone who disagrees is just naive or unpatriotic. Two extremes, both emotional, neither are honest. Because the truth, like always, sits bang in the middle. A nation, has a right to exist. And if it exists, it has a right to decide who comes in, on what terms, and for whose benefit. And that's not hate. That is sovereignty. That is true patriotism. Let's get something straight though. There is nothing wrong with migration. In fact, when it's done right, it strengthens a nation. Look at the Windrush generation. Look at the Irish after the Second World War. Men and women who came to rebuild a country after war. They worked, they contributed, they became part of the fabric. They didn't arrive and start demanding that the country changes for them. They adapted, they integrated, and they built the nation as it is today. That's migration, that's contribution, and that is a strength. And I'll say this personally, my own bloodline comes from movement. From people seeking opportunity, a better life, to be able to provide for their family, but willing to work to earn their place. So this isn't coming from ignorance, it's coming from an element of understanding. But something's changed, across France, across Germany, across the UK, across the whole of Europe, already stretching into the United States as well. And people are feeling it. And they're being told that they're not allowed to talk about it. We've got in front of our own eyes communities no longer integrating, values no longer being shared, systems massively under pressure. But if you say that out loud, you're just labelled, you're shut down and you're dismissed. However, ignoring reality doesn't make it disappear. But here's the line that no one wants to draw. If you come into a country and you respect it, you contribute to it, and you become part of it, you're an asset. But if you come into a country and then reject its values, refuse to integrate, and expect it to change around you, then you're not a positive migrant. You are contributing to fragmentation. Now, here's where it gets interesting though, because instead of asking, is immigration good or bad? We should be asking something far more important. Who benefits? Who benefits from the division that this is causing across all of our great nations? Because look around right now. We've got people arguing in the streets. We've got families divided on opinion. We've got communities losing trust in each other. And you've got, these people in the news every single day attacking women, attacking children, attacking each other. And who is saying that that is a good idea? Because while all of that's happening, there's no one being held accountable. Because instead, while we're so busy fighting each other, fighting our neighbours, we're not looking at who's actually allowing this to happen. But there's a pattern here, because it's a pattern that you see everywhere once you recognise it. And we've talked about it a lot before. It's this Hegelian dialectical approach, or problem, reaction, solution. Create a problem, wait for the reaction, and then offer the solution. We've now got overcrowded systems, strained services, rising tensions, and people are demanding order. So what comes next? Well, we've got a great solution. More control, more surveillance, more restriction on your lives. Not less, because as we know, once they seize power, they're very rarely going to give it back. So I'll ask you this again. Is this chaos accidental, or is it useful to someone or some group? Because here's the truth that gets lost in all of this noise. Most people, no matter where they come from, want the same things: safety, opportunity, a better life for their children. That's just human nature. But a society only works if there is a shared understanding of how we live together, because without that, we don't have unity. We have parallel, separate lives, parallel, separate communities with separate divisions and just a huge amount of slow fragmentation and division. This is not about race. It is not about hate. It's not about where somebody was born or what they believe in. This is about something far deeper. It's about identity. It's about values and standards. And it's about whether a nation has the courage to come together and define itself. Because if it doesn't, somebody else will, or they'll use us all against each other. So the question isn't, should people come here? The question is, what kind of country will be left if no one decides to answer who we are and who we want to be part of us?